Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Game of Thrones type of video for the prequel series, which will be hitting next from HBO for Game of Thrones. It has now begun filming in Belfast. Okay, so I definitely wanted to go ahead and give my thoughts on this one with you guys, and I'll put the link in the description so you can check these out. It's now under production. It's begun filming as of, I think, around last week sometime or earlier this week. Yeah, so there's a few different locations. You know, Game of Thrones, when they film it, they usually have different crews, different locations, filming different stuff pretty much at the same time simultaneously. So it has now begun begun filming for the first prequel series for Game of Thrones, which will likely air in 2020. So, surprisingly, it looks like they're actually going to get at least one of the prequels done, and we'll see the first season or the season premiere for the next Game of Thrones series, which will be the prequel series, whether or not it'll be called The Long Night or Bloodmoon, wherever the timeline is going to be. If it's 5,000 years before the events of Game of Thrones in a prequel fashion, we'll have to see. These are kind of all the different things that have kind of been sort of rumored or things that you hear for Game of Thrones. But, you know, until we actually see it, until we see a trailer at the least, you know, none of it is entirely official. And I would assume that since they're starting it now, we likely will see it next year in 2020, and it probably won't get pushed back and happen to take them like 2 years or something to do the editing or something. Like, if you look at season 8 of Game of Thrones, that one, it took them like a whole extra half year or so to actually finish the editing because of the way the 8th season went and all the CG and the dragons and everything they had to do with Night King and everything. So that one took longer. But I would assume the first season for this prequel series, 2020 is likely when we're going to see it. And now the biggest question is, how do we feel about this? Okay, so I'll give you guys a rundown, and I won't turn this into a rant video because we've done lots of those. So there's no need to retread on that. But basically, you know, been a huge fan of Game of Thrones from the very first season, from the time I saw the first episode in, 2010 or 2011, all the way up until now. You know, or really up until the last 2 episodes, I was 100% in on the series and loved it. The last 2 episodes I found to be extremely disappointing with the way they decided to end things off. And I think a lot of the audience is like that. Not everybody. There's some people that were happy with the way the 8th season went. But I think everybody has some gripes with how it ended up going down, whether or not it's a lot of people, for example, that hated the Battle of Winterfell or the battle against the Night King, or it's, you know, in the Long Night episode, whether they hated that because it was too dark, or they just thought it didn't make sense that Arya would be the one to kill him, and they thought that maybe Jon should be the one to do it, and they just didn't like the way that played out, or, you know, it feels like everybody has some gripes with the 8th season, and that's why it's generally, I'd say it's probably the most hated season Game of Thrones has ever had. You know, for me and a lot of you guys as well, too, it's the last couple of episodes and what they chose to do at the very end. So it depends. Everybody's kind of got their own, you know, and that's fine. Like, we can all have our own stuff. But there's only a few people, or a small percentage, I would say, that actually loved it all the way through and were happy with the way the series ended. Most people were pretty disappointed that they chose to go with kind of a gray area type of ending, which was kind of sad in the end, or just weren't happy with the way the 8th season turned out. So, that being said, extremely disappointed by the end of the series, but I do have to give the series credit that it was, up until that point, up until the last 2 episodes of the 8th season, it was my second favorite series of all time. I enjoyed seeing some of the episodes immensely. Some of the battles, like Battle of the Bastards, for example, or The Long Night, or Hardhome. Some of the others are some of the best battle-type episodes in any series ever, so we have to give it that. And I guess maybe just, you know, the way they kind of made the series kind of like a tragedy in the end, and the way they kind of made it feel, left a lot of people kind of wanting after the end, and just didn't like the way it ended up with Bran and everything. So, but okay, fine. So they're going to do a prequel series. Are we going to watch it? Where are we at with this one? And I really want to ask you guys, because I want to know whether or not you want me to continue to cover the Game of Thrones stuff, and next year do reviews for the prequel series and give my thoughts on it, because I am a little bit unsure right now. I'll probably watch it because I did, like I said, if you think about all the episodes they did in Game of Thrones, really for me, it's just the last couple there, the last two, that I didn't like and had a big problem with. Aside from that, all the way through the whole rest of the series, I thought it was pretty amazing, right? I just would have wished they would have ended on a different note. So I guess I'm in it, compared to nothing, right? I'm in it to see the prequel series. I am excited to see the prequel series, but I don't want to get my hopes up too high, because that's what I did in season 8, and unfortunately the ending didn't live up to the hype. So I don't want to hype it too much, but I am interested still to see it, and I do have to appreciate that even though I really disagreed with and really hated the ending for Game of Thrones, I have to appreciate all the episodes that they did do that were amazing, and ultimately it's their story, and they can end it in kind of a tragic type of way if they want to, and kind of subvert expectations, right? And not give a happy ending, but also give an ending nobody predicted, because it was an ending that nobody would really want to see. They went with kind of the unpredictable ending in that way. So that's kind of where I'm at right now for Game of Thrones with the prequel. So let me know where you guys are at with this one. What are you thinking? Are you excited to see a prequel Game of Thrones series? Do you care? Or did season 8, I should say, did season 8 turn you off so much of the series that you don't care about it anymore? This one, of course, is going to be very loosely connected, because it's going to be way in the past. It's going to be 5,000 years before, if that information is true. It's been confirmed Naomi Watts is going to be in it. You've got some other, actors here, Sheila Adam, Dennis Gu, some different people. So we'll see. We'll see how it turns out, and I'm definitely going to watch it, because, like I said, I did. When I look at the big picture of things, I did enjoy the series a lot, seasons 1 all the way through up until the last couple episodes, really, in 8. But everyone's subjective, and it's all up to us what we choose that we like and what we decide. So I'm not totally going to rage quit on the series, I guess, just because I didn't like the way that it ended off. I did enjoy a lot of the events up to that. It brought a lot of entertainment. It brought a lot of excitement. It brought a lot of epic battles and twists and turns and good drama and unexpected things happening. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited to see this prequel series and to see if it can even half live up to what the original Game of Thrones series was. Let me know what you guys think, where you're at with this one. Leave the comments below. Are you going to watch it? Do you care? Or has the ending in Season 8 of Game of Thrones changed things so much that you're not even interested anymore? If you like this video, please thumb it up below. You can also share, you can favorite. And if you're new and you want to subscribe, bottom left to subscribe. That's it for this one. I'll see you guys again soon for another video. As always, this is Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.